This episode of Everly Heights Tales is brought to you by Envato Elements. If you're a creative like me, you don't necessarily have the time or the talent to create everything you need. With Envato Elements, you can download unlimited creative assets all in one place. Where do you think I got a lot of the sound effects in this episode? Sign up for a low-cost annual plan today at everlyheights.tv/Envato. That's ENVATO.
Saw a broken clock on the sidewalk. The hands were moving backward. A theater kid's flashlight cast a shadow at my feet. An old actor told me once that time is on your side. But every time I try to run, this town pulls me back inside. This town has a gravity that rips you at your seams. It's a half-remembered longing for a place you've never been. You could always leave tonight, but the road just bends right back, 'cause every precious thing you cherished hasn't changed since you left.
The lights dim and our play begins. Enjoy a seat at the enemy's table. And stick around after the show for a little something extra.
This town has a gravity that pulls you by your jeans. It's a half-remembered feeling of some place you've always been. You can try to drive away, but the roads turn you around, 'cause every exit starts a ticking clock till the magnet pulls you back.
They say time heals all wounds. They also say a watched kettle never boils, and that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Basically, a lot of people say a lot of things that don't make a lick of sense when you really break them down, like mathematically or existentially. Tonight, like the master of logic I aspire to be, I'll be testing those theories, especially the one about the old dogs and new tricks. I'm Steve Loop, formerly Steve the Geek, if you've heard of me. The scruffy coughing guy who just walked in is Jerome Bentley, the bully who tormented me through all of high school. Despite both living in Everly Heights for most of our lives, we don't see each other much. And I feel like we both like it that way. Jerome scanned the room like it was a pop quiz he hadn't studied for. The same big brood I recall from my youth. Then, his eyes landed on me. The air got thick. Not with the scintillating smell of basil coming from the back of Greco's Italian kitchen, but with regret, maybe? My own mostly, but I like to think a little of Jerome's was mixed in.
Greetings from Greco's. I am Lucian, your host through our humble kingdom of culinary delights. So just one for lunch?
Nah, a guy I used to know has a table for us over there.
Ah, so you're a friend of Mr. Loop's. Well then, don't let me keep you.
Well, if it ain't Steve the Geek.
Hi, Jerome. Gosh, no one's called me Steve the Geek for years.
Yeah, sorry. So, we got breadsticks yet?
No, not yet. I don't know where that waiter keeps running off to. Is he the only one working?
Ah, that chump can wait. I got something to say. To you. Steve the normal guy. Dude.
Just call me Captain All Ears.
Remember back in high school when I was kind of a jerk to you sometimes?
Sometimes. Kinda.
Hey, I've been thinking, for once, and I can't fucking stand the guy I was back then. I gotta say, I'm sorry, Steve. I've done a lot of bad stuff to you, and I'm older now, and I feel like shit about it. I know it's just some grub at the fanciest place in town. I ain't the smartest guy in Ohio, but I figure this was a smart way to say, I'm sorry, or whatever. I'm sorry, duder.
I sat there for a minute, doing what I do best. Overthinking everything. I should say something, right? I mean, this is the part where most people say, thank you, or it's okay, or even go to hell. I don't know if it is okay. All right? I mean, this guy gave me wedgies and nightmares for the majority of my adolescence, distracting me from my studies. But I don't want him to beat himself up about it either.
You gotta sit there thinking about bullshit or say something, dipshit. Sorry. Force of habit.
Yeah, sure, Jerome. Well, I suppose if we're gonna follow this conversational thread, I suppose I must begin by asking, when you say you're sorry for everything, what exactly do you define as everything?
You know what I mean, dipshit.
Yes, but it's important when having a conversation as significant as this one that we don't allow our biases to send us down the wrong path.
Huh? Are you making fun of me?
No, not at all, Jerome. Now, what would you say was our most significant conflict back then?
You want the full list? I got time.
Sure. Yes.
All right. 6th grade. I swapped your allergy pills for Skittles, then sprinkled your desk with fur from a cat I found back on the soccer field. I saw you later that day heading to the nurse's office, wheezing like a goddamn accordion.
That was you?
Guilty.
But you made fun of me about it for 2 weeks. You even got all the other kids calling me Wheezy Stevie.
That's really good. 8th grade. I stole your math trophy and turned it into a bong.
Well, I suppose that shows some level of ingenuity, though I'd really like it back.
Sold it. Sophomore year. I told Angela Craig you had a thing for her, and that you stole her cheerleader panties out of the gym laundry and sniffed them out in the woods.
I would never.
Yeah, that was me. And there was the locker and the milk.
Don't go there.
I feel like shit, if it helps.
I had to throw out my entire science project. Can Jolt Cola protect you from the future? A caffeinated look at reflex speed. That should have been my theory of relativity. Luckily, I can whip up an advanced volcano model using common household items in under an hour, but still, I almost lost that year.
But it was kind of funny, right?
Yeah, sure. It was kind of funny.
I was a dick. No, I was a wuss. It felt like if I pushed back against people hard enough, nobody'd get close enough to see I didn't have nothing worth protecting. Still, don't, I guess.
I sat there looking at Jerome for a minute. He didn't look great. Jaundiced skin, so thin I could see the blue veins behind it. I've seen the signs before. My grandma, bless her soul. How long do you have? Jerome stemmed and stuttered and averted his eyes, but eventually he looked back at me.
Well, I got maybe 6 months. They told me to quit smoking, but they also told me the cancer was spreading too fast to do much about. So I didn't.
I'm sorry, Jerome. But I appreciate your candor. I hadn't heard.
Only a couple people know. My sister, Pete Chocolate down at the factory, the guy at Gummy Smoke Shop who keeps trying to sell me CBD cough syrup like I was some stoner burnout. But nobody from the old days except you.
But why, though? Why are you telling me, a man with a high probability of not giving a rat's rump about any of it?
I wanted to give you a chance to call me out, dude. I want to say I'm sorry while I still can, you know?
My dear Mr. Bentley, you don't just short-circuit a person's wiring when they're a child, then twist the wires back together with a "I'm sorry" good as new. You damaged internal components. Internal components!
Look, what do you want, dude? Blood? Because I got some on my napkin here. You want me to grovel? You want to kick me in the nads while I cry into the breadsticks?
I don't want anything. You asked me here, dying and needing to be seen. That's certainly poetic, I suppose.
Let's just say I didn't come here with high hopes that you'd forgive me. I guess I just wanted you to know that I feel like shit about it.
I appreciate that, Jerome. While my hesitance to forgive you remains steadfast, we can move on. You still serve food here, right?
Yeah. Let's eat. Hey, asshole! We're ready to order!
Mon ami, mon Pierre. Welcome to Greco's, friends. A naughty little pheasant told me you are ready to order. May I suggest a loaded spinach calzone?
What do I look like, Popeye? I want meat, cheese, and lots of grease.
Well, we do have a selection of gourmet olive oils. Our homemade pasta with bespoke tsunami sauce.
What the hell is bespoke tsunami sauce? Is it like spicy or something?
How about we split a pizza? This Michelangelo pie sounds interesting. Tell us about that.
Ah, the Michelangelo, an Everly Heights staple. Take what you love about the humble pizza pie. Luscious sausage, briny pepperoni, spongy mushrooms topped on top of a handcrafted mozzarella cheese. So, take all of that and add a lot more of it. Spiraling goobles of delicious, curated fat swirling together in your mouth.
So it's a pizza.
It's a pizza.
Good enough.
Sounds great.
Most excellent, sir. Then I shall off to the kitchen to inform the chef of your learned and wise selection. Anyone need a refill on pop, as the kids say?
I'll take a fuzzy navel. Heavy on the fuzz. I know it's a Tuesday, but what the hey?
Hell yeah! I'll take some Mountain Dew, buddy. Code Red if you got it.
Ah, a true gourmet. I'm sure your cardiologist would be proud. I'll be but a moment, sirs.
Do you remember when Tupac got shot?
What?
Tupac Shakur, the rap artist.
I know who Tupac is, dumbass.
Of course. 1996. There were so many, spirited debates to be had in the cafeteria that day. Half of our fellow Everly Heights earworms claimed he faked it.
You remember the vice principal on the morning announcements?
This event shall forever be known as a tragedy for fans of popular rhythm music.
What a douche. Him, not you.
And Angela Craig wore that black armband like she was his grieving widow.
Yeah. And before that, she never even liked rap. What a poser.
Total poser. Isn't it interesting that somebody we never even met, getting shot in a car we'll never ride in, powered by money we'll never have, hit us all so hard?
Oh, we were just kids, right? Probably taught us how to say goodbye.
Him and Mr. Cobain. May he rest in utero.
You know, Loop, I always like the way you talk. Like, I don't understand a lot of it, but it sounds kind of like poetry sometimes, you know? Loop the Love Doctor. There he is. That nerd with the glasses.
Oh, God. My lyric writing phase. When I was pining away for Beatrix Knapp, who I had no chance with. You guys stole my Trapper Keeper and read them all over the PA at lunch.
Man, I was the world's biggest D-bag.
Top 5 for sure.
Man, this place is fancy. Didn't they sponsor that pie eating contest back in 95?
The one where Billy Free got poisoned?
Yeah, man! That crazy bitch Miss Armstrong put antifreeze in the pie to poison Billy Belly.
Yeah, she wanted to eliminate the competition for her precious little dick.
Dick Armstrong. Even I hated that jerk face. May he rest in pieces.
Normally, I strive to be empathetic, but for once, I am totally on board with that sentiment.
You hated him too?
Oh, so much.
Mon ami, gentlemen. Your Michelangelo pizza and fresh drinks to soothe your palate. Merlot for the gentlemen in the glasses and code red for you, sir.
Thanks, chump.
Charming, truly. Do let me know if you need anything, gentlemen.
All this junk we're dragging around. The old wounds, the apologies, the pie eating contest trauma, and the hallway fights. It makes me feel like we're both just cheap archetypes in some commedia dell'arte play. You as El Capitano, me as the foppish and foolish Pedrolina. Still doing the same lines, hoping someone notices we're acting better this time, even if the script never changes.
Are you high? Because I don't know what any of that shit means, but you're making a lot of sense. It's like we're living in a sequel to a shitty 90s sitcom that nobody's watching because nobody asked for it.
You do get it. All these people we used to be, still hanging on like bad stage parents. Smile and think and be excellent, Steve. Use your mean voice, Jerome. It's exhausting.
So just like, move on like none of this shit ever happened?
No. We admit to ourselves our flaws, our mistakes, admit what will never be due to place or circumstance, and then we order dessert and drown our feelings in sugar.
Damn, Loop. You might be a nerd, but you sure are smart for a nerd.
Good evening, gentlemen. Might I tempt you with tonight's off-menu dessert delicacy? A tasty treat from the coal-stripped hills of West Virginia. It's called Blackwood Bottom Pudding.
Ooh, fancy. What's that?
It is, in essence, a deconstructed chocolate and cream confection, artfully layered to simulate the rich, fertile earth of our local environs. We begin with the proprietary blend of crushed chocolate wafers which serve as a coarse, yet surprisingly elegant foundation. Upon this foundation, a chilled ethereal whipped cream, topsoil, is meticulously piped, infused with just a whisper of vanilla. And then, for the final authentic touch, a scattering of granulated chocolate pebbles and, of course, the singular, hand-selected gelatin. Earthworms.
So this dish is made of Oreos, Cool Whip, and gummy worms.
It's mud. God, my Aunt Bertha in West Virginia used to bring that every time she came to see us.
We'll take 2.
Grazie, grazie. Here we go. Fresh from the buffet.
What would you have done if we didn't order mud?
Quit my job in disgrace. Remplissez vos traces, las cretons.
You know, it's surprisingly good given the presentation and ingredients. practically gourmet.
Yeah, it's just what it is. Nothing fancy, just a pile of sugar and a spoon.
Which, frankly, is a relief. No office politics, no kids talking back. Just me, a pile of sugar, a spoon, and a good friend to share it with.
Friend? Huh. I got a friend. But he's a total geek. Oh, what dumb luck I got.
Pipe down and eat, Jerome, before I shove that whole bowl of mud in your locker.
Good one.
See? I knew you'd love it.
So, maybe you can teach an old dog new tricks. The variables shifted, the outcome changed. Empirically speaking, that's progress, because the real trick isn't changing the play you're in, but remembering you get to decide when to try on a new mask. Who knows? You might even find one you kind of like.
It's so good.
Indeed. Say, do you remember those little candy spaceships we used to buy 10 for $1 at Ben Franklin's?
Oh, those things were crap. Like old Cheerios and cake sprinkles.
How astute.
Huh?
Clever. Jerome, I called you clever.
Thanks. You too, Steve.
Weren't you the one that pranked the staff's water cooler that one time?
Oh, yeah, I think I filled it with Everclear. Oh, that was a really good biology class.
We used to throw fists, now we're killing time, trading our grudges for a busted rhyme. Past was a weight, now it's dead on the floor. Don't need that baggage here anymore. Friending the enemy, bring on the strife, kick your grudge in the teeth. Get back your life, laugh at the sticks, pick up the stones, eat your meal but leave some meat on the bone. We can't undo the stupid we've done, but we can take our pain and defrag it to fun. We don't have to play the same roles all our lives. Turns out as we age, we can still get surprised. Friending the enemy, bring on the strife, kick your grudge in the teeth. Get back your life, laugh at the sticks, pick up the stones, eat your meal but leave some meat on the bone. I hit you, you hate me, I beg you, berate me, I'm a dumbass, it's true, so what can we do? I can't unpull the fire alarm. I used to be different, I love to cause harm, but we don't have to play the same roles every time. Enough with the drama, bring on the wine. Friending the enemy, bring on the strife, kick your grudge in the teeth. Get back your life, laugh at the sticks, pick up the stones, eat your meal but leave some meat on the bone.
Now, the curtain hasn't quite fallen yet. We'll pause to fill you in on another fantastic Everly Heights tale, and then I'll be back to step out from the wings and talk about the story you just heard. See you in a minute. What if you lost your best friend? Not to another town, but to another reality. In Infinite Tina Worlds Apart, Tina Infantino's quiet 90s life in Everly Heights is shattered when she's recruited by a secret organization called Weirdy and tasked with policing the multiverse.
Welcome to Weirdy.
Now Tina has to jump between strange and terrifying worlds, all while searching for her lost best friend, Ken Sacco.
No!
You can't save him!
He's still in there!
From the world of Everly Heights, this is a story of friendship, loss, and helping somebody you care about find their way home. And for fans of Everly Heights tales, the audiobook is performed by the incredible Mandy McCullough, who you might recognize as 2/3 of the Sparkles from our episodes Welcome Freshmen and The Quackening.
I am electric. I am the sun and the stars and the wind and the air. I am a melody strummed on the strings of the universe. I am infinite.
Alternate realities, unseen threats, one girl to set it right. Get Infinite Tina Worlds Apart on Hoopla with your library card, from the Kindle or Audible stores, or at the shop on everlyheights.tv. Well, thank you so much for checking out A Seat at the Enemy's Table, a tale of two archetypes finding a middle ground. I'm Bill Meeks. Thanks for joining me today for this audio-only after show. Let's just say I still have that Thanksgiving turkey bloat going on. You can blame King Sparrow, which, by the way, I hope you enjoyed King Sparrow. That was a book I wrote about 10 or 12 years ago, and it was a really fun challenge to breathe some new life into it and turn it from an audiobook to an audio drama. So I hope you liked it. Now, I think this came out really nicely. The broad inspiration was probably My Dinner with Andre, which I've never seen, but I've seen plenty of parodies of. So I know the basic idea, and I've seen a lot of plays that kind of play like that, where it's one setting, two characters, hashing things out, right? Now, if you've been following along with Everly Heights Tales and you listened to our Welcome Freshmen episode, you'll recognize two characters in this one, Steve Loop and Jerome Bentley, the 90s nerd and the 90s bully, who had minor roles in Welcome Freshmen, which we recorded a couple years ago now. When I started working on this podcast, I shot a message out to the cast of Welcome Freshmen to see if any of them would be willing to reprise their roles in audio form. It was kind of late when I put the message in our shared cast Discord, and I kind of decided as a challenge to myself I'd write an episode around the first 2 or 3 people who responded and raised their hands and said they were willing to do an episode. Now, we've had other Welcome Freshmen cast members come back already this season, people who raised their hands when I asked. But I actually started writing this episode about 2 hours after I hit everybody up. I thought it was fun that Steve and Jerome, the nerd and the bully from this very satirical 90s sitcom, had both raised their hands first, and I was like, what would it be like to get them sitting down across a table from one another to share a meal and maybe hash things out? When I started thinking bully, or, some people I've known through my life, or total nerds like Steve, or me, especially when I was younger, I instantly thought back to an experience I had with a guy I grew up with who, should probably remain anonymous. We'll call him Jack. Jack was in my computer class back in high school, where I got made fun of a lot since I talked a lot and said a lot of stupid stuff. A nerdy outcast among the nerdy outcast, for sure. It was a challenging couple of years. Now, since I went to college near where I went to high school, I ran into Jack pretty quickly. My college had this big homecoming tailgate party in the parking lot next to the big dorm room. And it was like the one time of the year you were allowed to drink on campus, and you were allowed to drink in the parking lot next to the football field. So everybody would go party. Now, I was walking around enjoying my freshman year of college when Jack saw me from across the rows of parked cars. He grabbed a bunch of Jello shots from his frat's cooler and ran over to me with them, effusively apologizing for how he treated me in high school. Now, I will say I don't really have any hyper negative impressions or memories of Jack treating me badly. I mean, he'd jump in and make some wisecracks to me every once in a while, but there were people who like showed up at my house to beat me up because I want to do their homework for them in that class. So Jack was pretty like low key. I really didn't care. But you know, it meant a lot when he apologized to me, and I accepted the apology and the Jello shots and some other shots. And then for the next couple of years until Jack graduated, anytime I'd see him at a party, he'd re-apologize for high school all over again. It was like Groundhog Day, but with whiskey. He was always so happy when I'd accept, and it got to the point where I could anticipate it, and once or twice when I'd see him out at a bar, I'd buy him a drink and bring it over to him before he could bring one to me. The lesson, quote unquote, Jack taught me, and the one that inspired a seat at the enemy's table, was that people who realize they've made a mistake carry those mistakes with them. And if they're truly sorry, it's worth giving them a shot to find common ground and see if there's some there, right? Pretty basic lesson, probably, but one I hadn't really learned until I got drunk with Jack for the first time and the second time and the third time and the fourth time. Now it's time for some Everly Heights connections. I haven't got to say that in a few weeks because I didn't do an after show for King Sparrow. Now the first Everly Heights connection is we've already talked about. I mentioned Steve the Geek and Jerome, who both featured in Welcome Freshmen. Steve also appears as the father of Louie Loop, who is also played by Steve the Geek's voice actor Samuel Lewis, back in the very first episode of Everly Heights Tales Season 1, Everly Heights: A Local's Guide. Greco's, the restaurant this episode takes place in, is owned by the father of the main character in the Everly Heights script. We have it up on the website at everlyheights.tv, Kids Like Us. Character's name is Nat Greco. In fact, a climactic moment in that story takes place in this restaurant. Greco's is based on a real restaurant called Greco's. I didn't even change the name on this one. In the real Everly Heights, Wheeling, West Virginia, where me and my punk rock friends used to go for their pizza buffet because it was about a minute's walk away from the coffee shop where we all hung out, Wheeling Coffee and Spice. So it was easy to run over there for some food, then come back to hang out and play hacky sack at the coffee shop. Most of the time, from my memory, Greco's was one of the fancier restaurants in Wheeling. It was kind of a fancy, dancy Italian restaurant. But once a week from 4 to 7, they had this buffet, and, you know, my punk friends and anyone who wasn't down to spend $100 on a dinner would descend and have the really, really good food. Lots of pizza, breadsticks, little pasta. Another character from Welcome Freshmen in this one is Lucien, the waiter. This is the same character, voiced by the same actor, as the oxygen bar attendant from Welcome Freshmen. You know, that really snooty guy at the arts board meeting who worked the oxygen bar? He's graduated to becoming a fine dining waiter with the same basic snooty attitude. There's a few mentions of Everly Heights characters in here too. Angela Craig, the main character from our spooky episode, The Quackening, gets mentioned by Steve since she was in Steve's class in high school. as does Beatrix Knapp, who appears both in The Quackening and in Welcome Freshmen. This episode features our first in-universe mention in Everly Heights Tales of Dick Armstrong, the adversary to Danny Chance in our Last Chance Detective Agency two-parter, really three-parter, coming up in Season 2 in 2026. That reminds me, we're wrapping up Season 1 of Everly Heights Tales this year with a couple more holiday-themed episodes, including a Christmas-themed episode featuring more returning characters from Welcome Freshmen, people who raised their hand and didn't raise their hand before I started writing this episode. And I have actually a fresh, brand new Dog Boy story. Do you not know what Dog Boy is? I'm not surprised. You know what? Stay tuned. We'll explain it all later. It's exciting, though. Now, to wrap up, I'm going to turn it around to you, and please respond to these. I'd love to do a listener feedback episode. I love hearing from listeners and talking about not just the stories I've written, but about your memories, your nostalgia. So I have a couple prompts for you to hopefully get you to write in so we can have a nice, big, long, hour-long listener feedback episode sometime soon. Have you ever forgiven your childhood bully? Maybe they became a good friend and a friend throughout your life, or maybe they became a good friend and you realized why they weren't your friend in the first place. Either way, shoot me an email or an audio voicemail. You can send me an MP3 file to billmeeks@everlyheights.tv, and we'll share them all in a future episode. Well, that's it for this week. And remember, even when you're stuffed like a Thanksgiving turkey named Bill Meeks, who refuses to appear on camera because he's bloated, Everly Heights will still find a way to pull you back. It's the holidays after all. And do me a favor. I'm not going to be able to go home this year, but when you go home, hit up the bar and friend an enemy, why don't you? Good night.
This town has a gravity that pulls you by your jeans. It's a half-remembered feeling of some place you've always been. You can try to drive away, but the roads turn you around, 'cause every exit starts a ticking clock till the magnet pulls you back.